morning, everyone. It's Saturday, which means it's time for yet another Salty Saturday morning. I'm your host, Mr. Kadish. And yes, we are a day away from the Super Bowl, and we're not going to be talking about sports ball at all on this show. But what we are going to be talking about is a lot of nonsense. And joining me in talking about the said nonsense is my fantastic panel of nerds. Now, for those of you who are wondering where Odin is, he's busy eating pineapple pizza on the beach, so he won't be joining us today. However, we will be having, hopefully, Tom Connors Jr. joining us as soon as he's done with his cereal, and a special guest because our guest, JT, has to leave a little bit early today, so he's only going to be with us for half the show. But with that being said, let me introduce, for the first time on the Salty Nerd podcast, Smash JT. How you doing, JT? Thanks for being here.
Good. Thank you so much for having me.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about your channel and what it is you talk about for those of you in our audience who might not know.
Yeah, for sure. My channel is kind of like my own thing. I know people try to fit into niches for categories, which is always kind of been a struggle for me, which is the algorithm is like, I don't even know what to do with this guy sometimes. I cover general gaming news and the people connected to the gaming industry and stuff that I find curious or interesting. And lately, those kind of topics have been kind of popping off. So the channel's been kind of popping off as well with them. So, yeah.
Awesome. And speaking of popping off, he's finished his cereal, so he's here now. Tom Connors Jr. from Midnight's Edge. How you doing, Tom?
I see Tom everywhere I go. Hey, Tom.
He is everywhere. He's busy.
I didn't even get a chance to get to my signal. You popped off the Tom signal so fast.
I like turtles.
I was like, all right, I'm coming. Jeez.
Yeah. It's like you don't know that we do a show every Saturday.
Well, I've had a long week.
Walking in. Tell me about it. And then we have our shield against all things intersectional and virtue signaling. We got Brian from the Popcast. How you doing, Brian?
Not bad, man. Glad to be here. Super stoked. Can't wait. Having a good day.
Yeah. And he has returned after rebooting his computer. Alex is back on the show. How you doing?
What's up, everybody? Dude, I've been on with you guys for the last 30, 40 minutes, chatting, pre-gaming, having a good time. Nothing wrong with my computer. As soon as Kadish starts the timer, the whole thing just goes. I'm like, are you serious?
You gotta stop downloading so much porn, man.
Oh, man.
Well, speaking of downloading
Lucid Link.
Speaking of downloading porn, we have a special guest who's here today.
What?
He's come back for his triumphant return to the show because Odin is off at MegaCon doing stuff, but he's going to be showing us his feet, his glorious feet. We got Dutch Butters back on the show. How you doing,
does
Dutch?
that mean I can
just
leave?
got rid of that fucker.
I'm supposed to be asleep right now. Damn it, dude.
Yeah, tell me about it.
Dutch Butters.
What's
Dutch
up?
Butters.
What's up, man?
What's up, my shield friend? How are you?
Not bad, bro. Great to see you.
Awesome.
Did you guys know that Dutch Butters has his own theme song?
I've got a whole album, dude. What are you talking about?
Yes. Well, he should have his own theme song. And speaking of theme songs, Dutch, I don't know if you knew this or not, but your biggest fan came in on our last episode and dropped a $300
Wow, nice.
super chat.
I actually did
Mr.
see that. I was watching. It's awesome.
Yeah, Mr. Made You Say Butts, aka William Forbes, is back, and he has dethroned Scotty Dub as our top super chatter. Scotty Dub is still sitting pretty at second place with $200.
Nice.
And guys, Mexican Iron Man finally made the leaderboard as our most consistent donator. So
Finally.
Congratulations. Yes,
Just a little subtle dig there.
Yeah. Well, we gave about a month and a half to find out who was consistently donating. So, and speaking of which, we got Mexican Iron Man for $5. We got the Taco Bell theme there, Tom.
Quit picking on my Mexidad.
Right, he says, I'm still in California, but dropping money support as I'm the most consistent Mexican live show supporter. By the way, Cali people out here are still wearing masks.
Yes, they are.
Yeah, but now it's
Crazy.
probably for different reasons.
No, it's
It
insane, dude.
smells like shit.
I'm in Cali. I don't see it too often in San Diego, but I from time to time I'll be
Yeah,
like,
you get closer to Los Angeles where you can see them in their cars and they're wearing like a mask and a face
Dude.
shield, and you're like, what
And
year is it?
I
no
see that
one-
in Vegas. I see people on scooters outside wearing masks in Vegas, and I'm like, what is happening right now?
So
What are we doing?
weird.
If you see scooters, I see cars with no drivers everywhere where I go around.
I think too many wackadoos got used to fucking face masks. That's the problem.
Yeah.
And guys, we have a gifted membership from Eric Winberg for one Salty Nerd podcast membership, his obligatory one every show. Thank you, Eric. And of course, the queen of gifted subs, who's not to be outdone, Jillian H., the artist formerly known as Jillian N., gifted 5 Salty Nerd podcast memberships, bringing it to 16, which is good because our goal, as set by Mr. Butters himself, is 15 new members.
Dude, you know, with me and Salty both here on the show today, your autism is going to have a hell of a time because we're going to interrupt you every single chance we get.
15 new members.
So we got 9 more members to go.
He didn't even respond to me. Can't even respond because
9 more members to go. Well, we
He's
got a
just
lot.
ignoring you.
We got a lot to do, Mr. Butts, because our special guest has a hard out in about an hour. So we're going to save a lot of the housekeeping for a little bit later. But before I do head on to our first story, I just want to remind everyone that the Brain Show is going to be on right after this show is over at 12:30 Pacific, 3:30 Eastern. And it's not misspelled. It is actually BRANE. That's Brian and Shane.
It's a combination
homogenized
word.
into like one entity. Brian, what are you going to be talking about today?
Oh my God, ton of stuff. A lot of USAID, the Doge squad, the Doge boys. That's gonna be fun. Because they're a bunch of like 4chan autists just getting there, just tearing the government apart. It's fantastic.
You know, we need to get Big Balls on the show.
Oh yeah, they all have nicknames. One of the names is Big Balls. He was fired for about a day, for 1 day before the vice president was like, "Nah, hire him back."
I was watching the news episodes last night covering that, and they were scared to say the word balls on.
It's awesome.
Oh yeah, they're like big BALLS. I'm like, oh.
You guys,
This is why you're irrelevant, guys.
I got the greatest guy. He's going to be auditing the government.
His name is
I want to
Big
introduce
Balls.
everybody here, Mr. Big Balls. He's fantastic.
I just love that the federal government is terrified of like these 4, early 20s guys with glasses, like straight up pocket protectors. Yeah. They have anime stickers on their laptops. They're like, we're gonna be coming into the building now.
We have the biggest balls of all the auditors.
Yeah. Fantastic. We're also talking about the propaganda in the news. We've noticed that a lot of people are reporting this, but I actually got a montage of all these mainstream media folks that are taking money from the federal government. We just found out recently. They also tend to say the exact same thing on the exact same day in the exact same way. I got a montage of that. Crazy stuff, man. A lot of fun topics today. I think the timeline we're living in right now is phenomenal. People are like, are you happy about what Trump's doing? I'm like, absolutely. Yeah, I'm having a great time. Yeah. This is exactly what I voted for. This is fantastic. I'm excited to be alive right now.
Well, the news is melting down about it, and people are responding with, "Yes, this is what we voted for, and he's following through on it. Why would we be upset at this?"
I love that all the protests outside of Los Angeles, all the protests are just like gone. It's like almost like they ran out of money to protest.
Weird.
Whoa, weird, right? Weird.
Well, guys, we're actually going to be getting into that real quick, but I just want to let everyone know to stick around till the end of the show because we will automatically redirect you to the Brain Show. But guys, since we're kind of short on time with our guest today, I want to get right into the first story of the day, which is...
by the way, please don't feel like pressured with me or anything as far as rushing stuff. I just...
We're gonna get time for this. Come on, go, man, go.
Go. Didn't you just hear me? So we're going to be talking about this little thing that came out of the USAID Doge audits, which is that Gamergate was financed by our own government. And this is absolutely crazy insane. JT actually did a really good video about it, which I'm going to talk about in a bit. But what I first want to do is give people who might not know what Gamergate is, like a quick little recap. And this is linked in the description, but this is basically a Reddit post that kind of goes through like everything. And I'm just going to read through it real quick. Corruption in gaming journalism and competitions, and the resulting demand for disclosures of ethics reform. That's what Gamergate is in a nutshell. Basically, a game developer slept with a journalist who then gave her game a very favorable review when the gaming community thought the game was not very good. She also got a gaming fundraiser shut down just before starting her own competing gaming fundraiser. A PR agent slept with the head judge of a game festival and her client to get her client's games winning in the festival. Once this became public, outrage spread to Twitter among other online forums. The two women above, as well as others related to the industry, aka feminist, jump into the heated discussion online. A few receive quote-unquote death threats. All sides condemn harassments and threats. The gaming journalists publish articles declaring gamers are dead and paint them as cis white male misogynists who hate women and their previously male-dominated industry. The allegations of corruption are not addressed. Gamers outraged at the anti-game sites who ran articles stereotyping and shaming their own fan base. Gamers note that 10 plus sites all ran similar talking points on the same day and suspect an industry-wide issue. They dig deeper into the web of industry relationships and uncover that more conflicts of interest, but also suspicion that radical anti-male feminists, often referred to pejoratively as social justice warriors or SJWs, are driving the narrative in the press. Gamers are upset that SJWs are deflecting the issue of corruption and turning it into one of misogyny and harassment of females in the industry. Articles that emerge in the BBC, make note of that, and Guardian do not mention the original issue of corruption, but focus on death threats. The female author of the Guardian article is shown to be financially supportive of the women she defends in her article. She is called out on it publicly. Gamers are convinced this is proof of the corruption. SJWs are convinced this is proof of the misogyny. In response, SJWs accusing the Gamergate movement as being driven by mostly cis white males. Minority gamers who support the movement tweet with #NotYourShield to tell the SJWs they don't need anyone speaking for them. So that's kind of like a breakdown where basically the media took a call by the gaming community to investigate fraud and corruption as signs of misogyny and white men basically behaving badly. But I wanted to show you guys this tweet because I think this sums up pretty much this thing in particular, which is most men wouldn't care what was going on with the government, but they ruined video games and made us bored, so we had no choice. Which I think is scarily accurate. But we also have this video from Smash JT, where he basically breaks down what's going on with USAID and Gamergate. So I want to throw this to him. JT, can you break down what the most recent revelation about USAID, which is it's not USAID, keep in mind, it's the United States Agency of International Development. Okay, so there's no aid involved in this. This is basically just a government bureaucracy that doles out money to pretty much anyone, and
money laundering, friend.
Money laundering, essentially.
Words out of my mouth.
And the funny thing is that basically when Elon and Doge started, their audit, they basically said like, okay, we're going to shut down all foreign aid for 90 days, and then we're going to see which agencies are most flagrant in their, ignoring of this, executive order. And USAID, the first and foremost, where they basically just like continue doing business as usual, despite being told that they weren't supposed to be doing that. And so that's what put the target on them as being like, one of the main problems of this out of control spending. So JT, what is the deal with USAID and Gamergate?
Well, you said it's not USAID, which is true. But I do find it coincidental that it was originally named that, almost as like a smokescreen for the public to make it seem like it's something special and nice. That it's not.
JT gets it.
And it's being called, as Elon says, and feel free to interrupt me. I don't mind, by the way. Go ahead if you got something to add on while I'm talking.
Don't tell us that, dude.
No, I'm serious.
I just want to wholeheartedly agree with everything you're saying. That's all.
I heard Elon.
Boobies.
What's that?
Boobies.
Yes, I will always agree with boobies.
You're right, though.
so
They were
they're
just
around
hiding
you,
in plain
so-
sight with that USAID thing.
Well, that's the thing. Elon was calling it a criminal organization, I believe. And when he said that, I'm like, man, that made me really dive further into this. So apparently, from what I understand, it's $8 million, at least this is my initial research, $8 million. I couldn't tell if that was in total or annually. I've heard mixed reports on that, but we'll just say $8 million has been given to Politico, which is a left-leaning news outlet. And they have written dozens and dozens and dozens of articles slamming gamers and pushing Gamergate forward. And these articles are all being sponsored by Politico. And people are making a direct connection, and rightfully so, that these are being caused by funding from the US government. And this is something that people have always been like, I wonder if there's any kind of connection, but nobody's ever been able to connect the dots until this got exposed. And now it's not just Gamergate, which is a huge piece of this situation. People trying to downplay that. It's a huge piece of this situation, but the situation is massive. Like, this is one of those incidents. I was talking about this on my live stream last night. This is like a historical moment. Like, this is going to be remembered 50 years from now. They're going to be looking back at this USAID being like, how much freaking money is being wasted? And the USAID situation was like a tiny sliver of like to the Gamergate political, just a tiny sliver of what they were spending money on, the transgender plays, the comic books, international stuff. And people are like, this is where my tax money's been going. I'm spending how much in income tax that we shouldn't even have right now. It's making the entire United States public question taxes right now, being like, wait, hold up, full stop. We shouldn't even have income tax. That was supposed to be a temporary thing. What's going on here?
It's like I don't want to pay him anymore. It's confirmed. It is absolutely 100% confirmed. Right. Our tax money is going to fund all this anti-American nonsense.
Yep.
Because it's all a ploy by these globalist organizations, these huge crazy companies that want to do all this stuff. It's like, at this point, why am I paying taxes? Why? I do not agree with any
it's
of
not
it.
it's not just billions. They're saying
Trillions.
it's upwards of trillions.
This is only the first. This is only the first government entity that Doge is getting its claws into.
Yeah. This
They're
was
just
like
getting started.
If you're turning over stones, this was the first stone, and they just happened to find $500 billion.
They're like worried about turning over other ones because, like, if this one's that bad, I don't know if we want to turn over the other.
Jesus, wait till they get to the Department of Justice, dude.
All
right, guys. But before we get back to JT's explanation, I want to just share this post from Sir Damned, where he says, "In case you didn't hear, USAID paid Politico to smear Gamergate. Reminder: Gamergate started in response to game journalists falsely accusing gamers of being bigots and misogynists. The reason they rose up in defense of some guy who Zoe Quinn, who's an industry figure, abused and cheated on. It also started in response to a feminist political activist who doesn't even play video games, attacking games and gamers, declaring various things like we were problematic.
These people, these people are tapped. Like, they are mental. When you hear them talk about stuff, like, how did they get in a position where anyone even listens to them? They are insane.
And we now know for a fact that there was a government-funded smear campaign against gamers. The government literally funded the smear campaign against cis white male gamers. And said it before, and I'll say it again: if you were on the opposing side of Gamergate, you were on the wrong side of history. You were wrong. And JT, you know, like, you famously had a little blow up with Mercanti, and we were wondering if her lawsuit was being funded by USAID. Do you have anything to say about that?
Yeah, someone asked me that yesterday, and my only response to that is nothing would surprise me at this point. If it were to be discovered, I'd be like, yeah, makes sense. I don't. The other thing too, just before I forget, if you look up Gamergate on Wikipedia, it still to this day has harassment campaign in parentheses after it, because it is an article that has been taken over by the people running defense for it. So they're trying so hard to make it look like it's been a harassment campaign from gamers against journalists without actually giving the full story as to where this quote unquote harassment started from. And it's actually just people trying to say, hold you accountable for the horrific actions that you did and the lack of integrity in journalism. And it's the same thing, which why Gamergate 2 or the second part of the original Gamergate, if it never went away, got kicked back up with Sweet Baby Inc. because they started doing the same thing again with Chris Kindred trying to get Cabrutus canceled. And people, gamers specifically, were like, wait, what? Why are they doing this? And then the journalists, Alyssa Mercante specifically, but others as well, wrote articles ignoring that portion and going after the gamers for quote unquote harassing Sweet Baby Inc. And it's like, no, this is not, you're doing it again. Stop it.
Yeah.
You need to talk about where it initiated, where the problem was, instead of what happened afterwards. So it's lying by omission, and gamers are sick and tired of it. And that's why the opposition will never win, because people have realized, people have woken up to what's happening right now. And it's like, nope, we're not falling for it this time.
But
They've been
Alec,
gaslighting us for like 8 years.
yeah,
And
Alec,
for a while it worked, by the way. It really did.
Yeah.
And I think that's why they kept doubling down on it until people were like, wait a second, this doesn't make any sense.
Alex, USAID has a budget that's double that of the CIA and FBI combined, even though USAID is being accused of being a CIA front. So that they basically get $50 billion a year to basically shell out to all types of non-government organizations that do the bidding of the Democrats.
Of which they're continually over budget somehow.
Yeah. And what we've been finding is that in addition to Politico, which is getting like $8 million a year in subscriptions, they also have connections to the Associated Press, Reuters, and the BBC.
And the New York
of all
Times.
things.
And the New York Times.
And the New York
Yeah.
Times, yes.
Literally every left-leaning news organization is being funded by the.
Every news organization of note. And so like these are basically considered to be like, if a news story appears in one of these publications, then it is like the gold standard of journalism, and that it has to be believed. It is factual and all this other stuff. But we found out just, through the USAID stuff, that all these organizations have been compromised, and they've been basically paid to write propaganda pieces. So like, what's your take on that?
I told you so. The idea that our government, and by extent CIA, whatever organization, whatever alphabet organization you want to call it, has been literally cornering the market on the news organizations, which has been anti-conservative, anti-Christian, anti-American, anti-white, whatever you want to say. That is the definition of pure, unadulterated fascism, is when the government owns the narrative. It's all these horrible government entities all wrapped into one that control the way people think, and it destroys those that opposes it. It's crazy. This is absolutely crazy. We've known it for years. We've just never been able to point to it. And now with Doge coming in here, and the fact that it also affected the culture as well, this whole Gamergate thing. Like, I wasn't playing games when Gamergate was a thing, really. I mean, I was playing like Halo 3 maybe, but I never really paid attention to it. But looking back at it, it's just flabbergasting. Absolutely flabbergasting that we are.
And do you remember when we interviewed Adam Baldwin, and he was the one who coined the term Gamergate?
Yes. Yeah. And he's been dogged. His career's been dogged for years because he's one of those guys that just refuses to freaking bend the knee, which is good for him. Now I imagine how vindicated he must feel at this point. Be like,
well, I've personally found that in my own career on YouTube, how quickly people will blackball you or push you out if you do not follow the narrative that they want you to. And it's wild how cult-like the behavior has become, and how tight-knit the group that protects each other in journalism, media, gaming specifically is.
Yeah, Dutch Butters, in recent history, there's been this push to get more DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion, into video games. And we're finding out that the leftist radicals who were in charge of USAID, who've been in charge of distributing the funds, they've been astroturfing all these, diversity initiatives through the power of the purse. And a lot of what's coming out now is like we're seeing stuff like Anita Sarkeesian being accused of getting hundreds of thousands of dollars for her Feminist Frequency charity. Now it's not confirmed that came from USAID, but there is some speculation out there that it's showing some connections. But also like Sweet Baby Inc. and all these other diversity initiatives seem to have been getting funded or at least incentivized by, like whether it be BlackRock or USAID. And gamers have been famously rejecting this stuff. Do you think that there's a turning point here where we're going to stop seeing this kind of infiltrate video games?
Well, I can only hope so. I mean, all we want to do is play fun, entertaining games. We don't want to play games that are injected with a bunch of messaging and DEI nonsense. And, I personally, if I know ahead of time that a game has been touched by a company like Sweet Baby Inc., I just don't have any interest in playing it. I'm not going to go near it. And I'm having a hard time even with like some companies that I used to really love, like Blizzard. I can play their old games, and I can play their older stuff back when I used to play, but I really don't like touching their new stuff. Like I haven't played Diablo 4 or the newest versions of WoW. I just don't have any interest in those, but I'll go back and I'll play like Classic or something every once in a while just for fun. But no, I think we're at a turning point. I absolutely do. I think with Trump getting elected, that there's been the whole woke DEI thing is peaked, and it's starting to go down a little bit, and people are screaming and fighting along the way, but they're finding out that there's just more of us than there are of them, and there always has been, except we just haven't been as loud as they are. And I think we've all had enough. We've all had enough. Yeah, go ahead.
Kadish, can you pull up the comment from Clandorian Gaming? I played Helldivers with him last night. This comment is perfect. I love it. It says, being shunned by the collective cult is how I ended up on Salty's Discord. Now I'm laughing at all those that gave me the cold shoulder as more and more stuff I was saying was proven right.
Yeah. You know what happened was they were trying to pacify a gigantic portion of the population that they consider toxic, aggressive, driven gamers, right? Like I was saying this before the show. They woke up the gamers, and the gamers are mostly men who have a lot of time to just grind out in various games and just find, exploits, kill boars for XP. They have so much driven autistic tendencies. And what you did was, these people didn't care about politics before. All they wanted to do was play video games, go to work, come home, play video games, go to bed. And then what you did was, you woke them up because you effed with their games. And you called them stupid, and you called them toxic males, and you called them misogynist. You woke them, and it took a while, but you woke up a giant. And what was it, like World War II, that one admiral that planned the attack on Pearl Harbor, he said, I fear that all we did was awaken a sleeping giant. Well, that's what they did with gamers. Mm-hmm. This huge swath of people that were pretty much apolitical, but if you mess with them, they're going to turn on you. And this huge swath of people, of mostly men, who are extremely driven, semi-autistic, ready to go, Brian, you mess with the one thing that keeps them from losing their shit, that keeps them pacified. You mess with the one thing that keeps them away from the politics.
Yep. You know what? The same can be said about sports fans as well. Now that you mentioned that, I just connected those dots. Like football fans. Yep. You start, like, this is their past.
Remember the NFL is gay thing?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
There's a whole group, a ginormous group of like working class. They've got disposable income. They love sports. They just want to work, go home, watch the game, hang out with their buddies, eat wings and drink some beer. And then you start messing with what they use as entertainment, and then they get them to turn on you as well.
You're messing with the thing that pacifies them.
Yeah.
And now you have nerds and jocks who are basically on the same page. They're like, yeah, you know what? This is not working for me. What are we gonna do to stop this? Oh, we gotta vote for Trump. Okay, let's do that.
Yeah, well, the NFL has their own issues because like Chat says, they're doing that Black National Anthem crap before every big
They're
game now.
not letting go of it. They haven't.
They won't let it go.
They're doing stuff like the Taylor Swift watch. Every time the fucking Chiefs are on TV,
Listen,
it's like they have to put Taylor Swift on the freaking TV 16 times a game. I think there's a prop here in Vegas at the sports book about the over under about how many times Taylor Swift is going to be shown on TV during the Super Bowl.
My brother-in-law was apolitical until like 2 years ago when all this football stuff happened. He's a huge football fan, right? Yeah. Football, baseball. If you name the sport, this guy will bet on like chicken fights if there was a channel for it. No, this guy was apolitical, didn't care. In fact, I would even say he was sort of anti-Trump, because he's Hispanic, right? Well, then you started messing with his football. The guy started to become more and more educated about all the stuff happening because you started messing with the one thing that pacified him.
Well,
and now he's a full-blown Trump supporter wearing a MAGA hat, dude.
Let him cook, Kadish. Let him cook.
Tom, to Brian's point, there's been a concerted effort by radicals in the government to kind of like destroy men's entertainment. So like you have the Star Wars stuff, the Star Trek stuff. But in terms of like the gaming stuff, we saw this with Frosk, where basically she was trying to vilify like all the male gamers. We saw this with Alyssa Mercante.
How fast did that channel just die after Frosk?
Because it wasn't.
Yeah.
You don't go after your audience, especially when they're autistic gamers.
They were probably being funded by USAID anyway.
And especially when you're not hot enough to get away with that type of behavior, But I want to ask Tom like what he thinks about this kind of focused destruction of men's beloved, entertainment avenues that seems to have been funded by radicals in the government.
Girls are smelly.
They are,
and we don't want to let them in our clubs. And they always ruin everything, and they put doilies and shit under everything. No, like it's obvious that it's been happening for a while. And look, there's some Karens out there who got pissed that their boyfriends and husbands played video games. So they orchestrated this whole thing to try and destroy video games. Well, guess what? All you did was piss everybody off.
Totally backfired.
Honestly, I don't even know why you asked me this.
I saw a comment on a video. They were like talking about the funding and some of this exact same thing. And the comment was just roasting them. They were so ratioed. The comment had 10,000 upvotes to their 1,200 likes. And it said, we never funded Gamergate. No one funded Gamergate. If we did fund Gamergate, so what? Okay, so we did fund Gamergate. Here's why it's a good thing. Like, okay. Come on, guys.
Well, you know what is a good thing? Our members chats. We've got Twinkle, Yinkle, Doodle all day, member for 2 months. I lost my job at USAID because I was the special agent in charge of the FBI female body inspector. Yes, indeed.
I've had that job.
Yes. And then the mum for 199. It's raining here and no PSN, which means crazy kids.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the network's down, isn't it?
This happened. Yeah, this happened. I think sometime yesterday.
They ran out of funding.
And it's so bad because it's the 1 year anniversary of Helldivers 2 right now, and like half of the community can't play the game. And everybody.
Wait, what? What's going on?
That's why you guys stick to Steam, boys.
PlayStation Network's down. Nobody from PlayStation can play Helldivers right now because the network's down.
It's been down for like 10 hours too.
The entire game right now is being carried by PC players.
Wow.
The ones that they shit on for not having a PSN account.
Yeah.
That's so
guys. So to Tom's point about girls being smelly, the Hawk Tuah girl has returned. So to give people a little bit of a breakdown of what happened here. So Hailey Welch, aka the Hawk Tuah girl, who became famous for the Hawk Tuah spit on that thing meme. So she had a podcast that she started and kind of leveraged her fame and fortune and basically created a meme coin that she launched not too long ago, a couple months ago. And the meme coin turned out to be a huge rug pull. Basically, everyone who invested in it lost all their money because the people who were holding the coin essentially sold it off at the height of its value. They
Yeah.
made tens of millions of dollars, and everyone who invested in the coin lost all their money. And they had a Twitter space to kind of talk about this, where Hailey got bored and eventually said, "I'm going to bed, y'all. Good night."
All right,
And,
y'all, I'm going to bed.
Yeah, I'm going to bed.
In the
And
middle
then-
of a conversation.
and then that was the last thing anyone ever heard from her for 2 months. And
she
she
stayed
basically
out. It would have been great for her last sign off. I'm going to bed, y'all. It just never came back to the
just
internet.
never came back.
I wouldn't have come back after getting all that money. I wouldn't have come back.
But
What's
but
the
guys, so I don't know if a lot of you know this or not, but Hailey Welch's podcast Hawk Tuah is actually produced and financed by a betting company called Better, which is owned by Jake Paul and Logan Paul. So they're a sports bet company that basically is funding this podcast. And the fallout from the meme coin scandal has been disastrous for them. So they haven't done anything with it quite yet. But she released a new episode the other day that where she had FaZe Banks on. And FaZe Banks, you know, he was one of the guys calling them out in the Twitter spaces. He's a big crypto guy. He's a famous video gamer. And basically she had him on to kind of like walk through what actually happened. But here's what's really funny about this thing. So like, you know, like FaZe Banks comes on, he's trying to help her rehab her image. He's trying to kind of salvage what the bad name that crypto got. However, he didn't authorize the release of this episode, so they had to take it down a couple hours after it was published. So you can't even find this episode online on her feeds, because her team is so inept that they screwed this up. And basically FaZe Banks put out like a big tweet explaining, like, you know, like she's surrounded by idiots, she keeps getting taken advantage of, and that this episode was not supposed to be released yet because they had a lot of stuff going on. But apparently the Better team, you know, the Jake Paul, Logan Paul people that they hired are just messing up left and right. But there's a little bit more to this story, because essentially when this episode dropped, you saw an uptick in the Hawk Tuah coin. And so like there was another rug pull involved, where basically like these people who were still holding on to the coin were able to sell it off on the uptick. I don't know, man.
So stupid.
Yeah,
Who
yeah.
the hell is buying Hawk Tuah coin after all of this comes out just because she releases a podcast? This
Yeah.
is so ridiculous.
But well, it wasn't necessarily about her, Alex. It was more about FaZe Banks, and basically everyone who appeared on this episode was very upset because they were told specifically that this episode was not going to be released until they had, like, all their ducks in a row. But in addition to this, CoffeeZilla, the YouTube investigative journalist who just he's all over like the crypto scammers, he released a video this morning where he showed the receipts that he had in exchange with Hailey's attorney. He was actually on the podcast. He was just this disembodied voice. He was off camera. But he caught her representation in numerous lies. And it looks really, really bad. So what was supposed to be like her returning and having like this image rehabilitation and stuff like that has turned into yet another disaster for the Hawk Tuah girl. So, Alex, you obviously have a lot to say about this. Let's go to you. What do you think about this attempt to salvage a bad situation?
Look, I got a soft spot for Hailey Welch. I think she was sweet. It was fun. She saved us from freaking Gay June a couple of years ago.
Oh,
You know,
yes.
I like her. I like her. I got a little soft spot for her. She is surrounded by the douchiest people on the planet.
Yeah.
And
Jake Paul and Logan Paul's buddies. Like, come on.
to a certain extent, it is absolutely her fault to allow these people to kind of like control her brand. But I mean, honestly, these people are just the worst. I listened to half of that podcast, and I just got angrier the more I listened to that idiot talk. And
Let's
then when
not forget that FaZe Banks also rug pulled.
And that's what I'm talking about. I'm like, the more that guy spoke, the angrier I got. So I'm just like,
The
this
fact
guy
that he thinks like he can talk, he cannot be the virtuous one here. He literally did this a year ago. Calm down.
He's a freaking con man. And
He's a con man.
He's a con man for sure. And then when she was actually asked an important question about like, hey, what are we going to do moving forward? And what was the actual deal? She got paid, according to their lawyer, who was off camera answering the questions for her on her behalf, which was another. It's like, Hailey, just take the L and bounce. Like, what are we?
Yeah, bro.
Like, what are we doing? What was I going to say? Oh, so she got paid $125,000 to start for using her brand, for using her likeness. And then after the coin launched, she was supposed to be paid $200,000. So a total of $325,000 to basically help them launch this cryptocurrency. It completely backfired. I don't know if she actually got that money from them, if that deal actually went through, but that money was specifically just for using her fame. It was just for the rights of using her fame. So if you really want to get nitpicky about it, I say she would be entitled to that money because that's her brand that she's using to launch this thing. But anything else after that, anything that has to do with the profits of the coin itself, that's all nonsense money. That's all money that was basically stolen.
And who knows who actually got it, dude?
Yeah, and then the other thing is
by a bunch of people around her that set it up. She doesn't even know what crypto is.
She doesn't. She has no idea. It's very clear she has no idea what any of that.
I don't know, but it's fake money.
Guys, in the meantime, Doge is at 25 cents. It's the time to buy.
I bought
buy some Doge. So,
I bought $25.
I mean, I know you're making a joke right now, but legit,
I'm not making a
true.
joke. I'm not making a joke at all.
I bought this morning. No, I'm holding on. I got like 20,000 Doge. I ain't buying.
Well, Brian, you also are the biggest investor in Disney, so not financial advice.
I'm not saying listen to me, but I have made money on Doge. I bought and sold the dips now.
I'm not
for like
saying
3
listen
years,
to me,
so.
but listen to me, Brian. I want to read you the FaZe Banks tweet where he basically says. So in an attempt to hear Hailey Welch's side of the crypto scam story, I agreed to be her first podcast back. I had heavy stipulations, including not allowing markets to be manipulated by leaking this episode's existence before the resolution was found, her team finding a real solution regarding the money she made, where that should go, and what to do with the Hawk project moving forward. These were non-starters, and we had been told this episode would only ever see the light of day if we explicitly greenlit it. These incompetent retards leaked and or inside traded the token. We noticed a random spike in the volume of the coin 2x2, along with random messages asking us if we did the podcast. Very clearly, her team was not as solid as they claimed to be. They completely blew it, and we called the episode off right then and there. Now today, the episode randomly gets leaked. The price of Hawk is pumping, and they completely fucking fumbled the bag yet again. What a fucking mess. Poor girl. It's a wonder how she found herself in this position in the first place. Now, Hailey Welch, I'm going to speak to you direct and say the exact same thing I said to you on Spaces that night. Fire everybody. Your team's fucking retarded. Full disclosure, nobody from our team will ever own Hawk tokens. Highly advise anyone following the story stay far away from this, as the majority of supply is owned by unknown quote-unquote developers. So Brian, you want to talk a little bit about the FaZe Banks rug pull and like what you think his role is in this latest development in this scam story?
Listen, the FaZe Banks rug pull was not remotely as bad as this Hawk Tuah thing. In fact, obviously it wasn't as bad if he's still working. But the whole FaZe Clan thing where he basically told fans, look, 99% of all crypto is a scam, but mine isn't. And then a month later, it's pumped and dumped. Now, it wasn't, again, not remotely to the level that Hawk Tuah was. And let's be real. I'm sorry. If anyone's watching this and you bought Hawk Tuah, I'm going to be honest with you. That's retarded. You shouldn't do that. Don't buy crypto because some 15-minute celebrity on the internet told you should. That's insane. Yeah. That's insane.
Well, hold on. This is coming from the same people that are saying we need to buy Doge right now. I mean, come on.
Doge has been around for 4 years, though. And it went from 0.0. No, hold up. It went from 0.0001 cent,
right?
And now and to all the way to 60 cents. Now it's at 25. I've sold at 39.
Oh, it went all the way to 83 cents. I invested in it when it was at 3, and it went to.
But at least it's a real coin. It's not funded by Hawk Tuah girl or FaZe Clan.
No. It was not it was a joke coin.
I know it was a meme coin, but now it's different.
Exactly.
It has way more stability.
That's my point. Is Hawk Tuah could be a real coin 3 years from now, looking back at like what
maybe it can, but you still shouldn't buy it from Hawk Tuah.
All this shit is bullshit because it's still based on real fucking money.
Yeah, it's not. Anyways, you shouldn't buy it. You shouldn't buy crypto from celebrities. If you want to, I mean, But if you get had by this constant nonstop rug pulling, that dude, everyone that isn't connected to Logan Paul rug pulls. So you should see that. Watch a Coffee's Unlimited video, just one, and you'll know not to trust these people. I'm not saying buy Doge either, by the way. I'm saying I bought Doge, and it's
I've
worked
never
out.
met anybody who's been rich from this shit. I'm just going to say that right now.
No, I'm not rich at all.
Other than the people on the other end that are
Right.
ripping
The
people
people-
off.
Right, it's the rug pullers that get rich.
Right.
But you shouldn't buy it. The thing with the FaZe Clan thing, though, is this, and maybe this guy is wised up. Maybe he's taken what he learned and he's trying to like adjust. He's clearly has not been canceled, but he can't be the self-righteous one here when he did a very, very similar thing. And he doesn't have the benefit of not knowing what the F is going on like Hawk Tuah does. Like Hawk Tuah has no idea what's happening. He knows exactly what's happening, and he's still pulled a rug.
Well, I want to throw this to JT because I know he's got to get going soon. But JT, basically, you have this meme queen who kind of rose to fame because of like a random thing that she said to some guy on the street. And she turned that into like basically an empire. But now the people that she surrounded herself are obviously taking advantage of her. What's your take on this whole scandal?
I think that they are retards, like they're calling them out to be. But at the same time, they seem to be stumbling into making money wherever they go and proving that once you get to a certain level of popularity, you can fail upwards in this world. And she is the quintessential definition of that.
Are you announcing Smash Coin?
Not yet. Not yet. Smash Coin is actually not even in the works yet. I'm not going to even joke about that.
I want a Butters coin. When are we going to go to Butters coin?
Soon, my friend.
Butt coin? Yeah.
It is
I can get you a coin made of butter real easy.
it is an entertaining situation though, because she was the second or top podcast in the country.
She was the third biggest podcast in the country. Yeah.
Third biggest after the Joe Rogan Experience and Tim Pool, I assume.
Tim Pool or
I know
Adam
Joe
Carolla.
Rogan was on there, but I'm not. Yeah, I'm not sure about Tim Pool.
I think Adam
Carolla, yeah.
Adam Carolla has the second largest podcast.
Okay.
Joe Rogan's first.
But just to go to show, like, who are these people that listen to her? It's curious. But yeah, I think it's just one of those situations of.
It's a great question.
It's so ridiculous that people. It's almost like a car wreck. Like people just care about the situation because it's so ridiculous. I think it falls into that category.
I'm with. By the way, I'm with you, Alex. Like I feel sort of bad for her, and I sort of like her. I'm not going to listen to her. I'm not entertained by her, but I sort of like.
Brian,
her.
would you feel that way if she was ugly?
She is kind of ugly.
She's not.
Oh,
ugly.
I mean, she's not
She's
ugly,
cute.
but she's not.
She's
She's
cute,
like.
but
She's like.
she's not
she's-
freaking.
slightly
She's not
above
Arma
mid.
Diarmas, you know what I mean? She's not
She's-
Sydney
she's-
Sweeney or nothing.
She's 2 shots of tequila and like 3 beers. Okay, that's where she's at.
Damn,
What?
you're,
I would
that's
say no. One shot of tequila and a long day at work.
damn. You need
Okay.
alcohol with her? What?
Yeah. You know,
No. I think she's slightly above mid. Like she's not horrible. But I,
She
you
can
know,
Hawk Tuah
bringing
all
endorsements.
day.
a big
Right.
part of it's her
Yeah.
personality. Or it's not just about her looks. Like her personality is like charming.
I'll
So-
totally let her hop.
But I'm not listening to her damn podcast.
No,
Like, there's
I'm
nothing
letting
she has to
you
say
know.
that's interesting.
Brian has some very high standards, so props to you, man. This is good.
Been married for 22 years, bro. Gotta have high
He's
standards.
saying that because he's married. I was just gonna say,
22 years this next week. By the way, I won't be here next Saturday. Sorry, guys. My
14
anniversary.
years for me. 14 years over here.
There you go.
24.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Well, 14 for me this year. So
Nice.
Wow.
look at us.
34 years single.
Tom's the only smart one here.
Winner.
He's the only smart one here.
Have you guys? Well, let's do the super chats because one of the super chats is actually a good segue.
Well,
for something I wanted to mention.
let's hold off on the super chats until I'm done with the segment here. Smash, I know you got to get going. So, was there any final thoughts you wanted to add before you headed out?
I think that the game industry specifically, just to go back on the USAID thing real quick, is healing. I know that there's not going to be a straight line to victory here. We already hear the court systems are putting injunctions and and halts on what Musk and Trump are trying to put ends to. So it's going to be a long road. It's not just a, hey, this announcement got made and it all stops, but it's on the right path. It's exciting to hear that the world is returning back to some state of normalcy, or at least it feels that way. And games eventually will also get put back on that path. And everyone is very, very hopeful right now, and it's a good feeling. A lot of W's we're stacking up.
A lot of W's. Yep. A lot of dubs.
All right, everyone. So just so you know, there's a link to JT's channel in the description if you guys want to go check that out. JT, thanks for being here with us today, and hope your son wins the softball game.
Basketball, but yeah, thank you so much. Yeah,
Thanks, man.
They won
Smash.
the game last week, so they're very excited. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for having me on. And
Thanks for coming, man.
For sure. Have a good one, guys. Tom, I'll probably see you on Flash at some point. So
Tom is everywhere.
Later, Smash.
Bro.
Good seeing you, bro.
So, Brian, did you know that President Trump released a meme coin? Would you invest in that?
No. Here's the deal. I love President Trump. I love the guy. I think that he's one of the most important people in the world right now. And I think that what he and his team did literally changed the course of history for the better. And I did not buy his coin.
What about his trading cards?
I didn't buy a trading card either. I did, however, I bought some of that stock he had. What was it? I bought it for like a day, and I sold it at like 3 times the amount. I made like $600, and I walked away. I never looked back. But that was on a whim. It's not a good investment. Like, don't listen to me, dude. My investments suck. But
Yeah. Well, also, Brian, so you called Hailey Welch a smidge above mid, but I believe, she's from Tennessee. Would you call her a Tennessee 10 at least?
Tennessee 8.5.
Tennessee 8.5.
California
That's
6.5.
That's
Yeah,
so
it's
messed up.
definitely California 6.
California 6.5. Yeah. I mean, California's dude. It's nuts. Like Instagram model of the world over here. I hate this stupid state so much.
Yeah.
Need to move, bro.
Tom, what's your take? Do you think Hailey Welch can come back after everything that's happened here?
I doubt it. I mean, let's be real. She used up her 15 minutes of fame. She was cute for about 10 minutes. This has gotten to the point where I'm sure she'll end up in court the next time before we see her again. I'm not even kidding at this point. I mean, I'm not saying she's guilty of anything, but she's definitely going to play
technically
a role
rug
in
pulls
this.
isn't against the law.
Well, somebody's going to end up getting sued somewhere at some point.
Yeah, but it won't be criminal.
But she'll end up having to testify at some point. I don't think she's necessarily guilty of anything. I agree with you guys. She's got a stupid team around her. She trusted the wrong people. She probably could have stretched her 15 minutes of fame into a podcast career or something like that. And instead, she surrounded herself with the wrong idiots. And I get it. I was goofing around a little bit with the crypto. No, but seriously, I don't see where this is a profitable thing. And I know some people swear by it. It's all that stuff. It's like, but you're just making shit up out of thin air. Mm-hmm. And it's still up against real money, right? Like, because you're sitting and you're telling me it's worth 60 cents a coin or whatever. It's like, okay, 60 cents of what? Exactly. So like, it's not worth anything without the other. At the end of the day, it's just a dumb bunch of stupidity, and it's sad for this girl, but I don't really feel that bad for her at the same time.
15 years of crypto being semi-mainstream at the very least, and most people still don't understand it. And I know a lot about crypto, and I don't really understand the value. All I know is that when you buy some crypto, it gets more valuable, and I can sell it for real money.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I know still. Like,
Well,
until
it's a lot
crypto
like the
has like
stock
a
market,
utility,
I guess,
it's
in a
not worth
weird way.
anything.
Yeah.
Well, the selling point of like legitimate crypto, like Bitcoin and stuff like that, is the security and it's decentralized. So it's like the blockchain. It's you can track every single percentage of a point to it. You can do all this stuff. It's so much safer than regular cash. Yada yada yada.
It will never be
problem
adopted, though. Yeah.
But the problem is with AI and with quantum computing, which is happening now.
Oh, we're gonna break the blockchain. Watch that.
The blockchain will be
Yeah.
broken, and this stuff will be completely useless.
Yeah, AGI comes and blockchain's gone, and
So,
everyone's
like-
going back to the gold standard. Can we just go back
Yeah.
to the gold standard? Let's
Yeah,
just do that.
Eventually, that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, originally the value of Bitcoin was kind of directly related to the amount of electricity it was involved to mine it, right? And because there's a limit on Bitcoin, there's like this false scarcity, and Bitcoin is really the only cryptocurrency that has any like real value associated with it.
Well, Ethereum because it's utility.
Ethereum because of utility, but beyond those two things, even Ethereum, it gets kind of questionable at a certain point. But Dutch Butters, you're a big Doge fan. You've been investing in Doge for quite some time, back when it was below a penny. What's your take on Hailey Welch and this mess that she got herself into?
Oh, I like you guys. I can't really add a whole lot to what you guys have already said. It's a mess, and I feel like she got taken advantage of. I don't think she was smart enough to understand what was going on around her, and she totally got taken advantage of by this team of vultures that swooped in and used her little bit of fame at the time to take advantage of her and make some easy money off of her notoriety. As far as she goes, I think you guys asked if she can survive this. I think she can to a point. I think she has enough people in her like small base of fans that she can use to go forward with. She should keep on going with her podcast. She does have her name out there. I'm not saying it's a good podcast or she's all that smart, but she, people watch podcasts with me on it, for God's sakes. So there's a market out there for people,
And she's more attractive than we are. Like, for sure.
Absolutely, I am.
Oh, yeah.
I am so far below mid, dude. It is
I
unbelievable.
know. Dutch Butters is a smidge above mid.
Dutch Butters gets 5,000 views per episode. You know what I mean? Like,
I'm like a full bottle of tequila, a lid, dude, not just a fucking lid. And
You're a smidge above mid.
You just need to show your feet off more, Dutch.
yeah, no,
If you showed your feet, you'd be like a 7.
okay,
Yeah.
but yeah, and Tom, he's an ugly fuck, dude. I mean, people listen to him all the time. So, I mean, Jesus. So,
I like turtles.
yeah, I think.
Why do you think I'm off camera all the time?
Yeah.
I don't want to scare
Yeah.
children.
I do think she has a little bit of a future, and she just has to plot it out good and get a nice manager that knows what they're doing and take advantage of the notoriety that she has, and I think she'll be okay. She's not going to make billions of dollars, but she's definitely can make a living doing it. So that's
Oh, guys, speaking of billions of dollars, we got some super chats to get to.
Let's go.
Shinotsky for $5. The fact that people value crypto on how much real money it's worth means it's not a currency, it's gambling with less protections.
that's true.
I tend to
Very
agree
true.
with that. Yeah.
That's
Well,
basically the
that-
smarter way of saying what I was trying to say.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was leaning to when I was talking about, like, it's not, there's no inherent value to it except for what people believe there is. Now you could argue that that's also true with the American dollar right now, because the American dollar is not on the gold standard either, but it does have oil. Like, a country has things to back up its currency with. Crypto, all it had was its security. Like, look how secure this is. The blockchain will track everything. Well, as soon as somebody figures out how to break the blockchain, crypto bemes completely useless.
AI is going to do that.
I look at Doge like this. Doge is something you can buy for, I bought it, a couple hundred of them when it was like 12 cents a freaking
Right.
share
Same.
or whatever. I think back because I missed the whole Bitcoin thing or whatever it's called. If we had all adopted that and got onto that 15 years ago or whenever it came out, we'd all be billionaires now.
We would own
some of these
YouTube.
people. Yeah. So yeah, exactly. So I look at something like Doge, and it's all hyped up. It started out as a joke, but it's all hyped up by Elon. There's all these kind of things where
It's
tied
it's
to
an
Elon.
Elon Musk.
it's
an Elon Musk
thing.
coin.
You have the president talking about it. I mean, there is some chatter about this thing, and it's got some hype around behind it. So it wouldn't shock me if two things are going to happen. It's going to be completely worthless in a couple of years, or it's going to be worth $20 a share. And if it goes one way, then I'm rich. If it goes another way, I'm out nothing. I'm out a little bit of coffee money that I blow on it every once in a while. It's not that big
Yeah,
a deal
yeah,
either way
it's
for me.
the
So
the bar, like the entry point is so minimum. Like,
Yeah.
it's
yeah, it's like, oh,
The
I can
problem-
go buy. I
I
can go buy
spent
100
$10.
shares.
Yeah,
I can go buy 100 shares, or I don't go to Starbucks today.
Yeah,
Right,
the
yeah.
problem is the people that buy
Yeah,
meme
so-
coins and Hawk Tuah coins for
Yeah.
their lifetime savings for
Yeah, those
$20,000 worth
people
of
are
that
dumb.
shit.
Those
That's
people are
dumb.
dumb.
Don't
Yeah.
do that shit.
You guys know what isn't dumb or more super chats. We got Mark of Reality
Yeah.
for $10. If you're
Yeah.
going to buy crypto, get Bitcoin or Litecoin. These two do not have CEOs. They do have founders. One is still alive, and they've been around for over a decade.
George
And then
Soros
he-
owns Bitcoin. I don't know what
And
you're
then he drops another $2 super chat to say, I am not a professional financial advisor. So,
I just bought USAID coin. I heard it's going to do well.
Yeah.
you know what else does
To the
well?
moon,
is
baby,
this-
to the moon.
Is the
To
Joker's
the
voice.
moon. Hold.
He's been a member for 23 months. Hail SMP. Bat Tom, you'll never catch me.
What's up, Joker? It's good to
Because
see
he's
you,
the
man.
Joker's voice, yes.
Yeah.
All right. And we also have yet another super chat from Mark of Reality for $5. I have purchased items with Bitcoin and Litecoin before the central bankers went to war with crypto, like it was in the Trump family.
I was the first retail store in California to accept Bitcoin in exchange for a physical product. The very first.
Yeah, but you
That's
got rid
my-
of it, right?
And then I sold it when it was worth $25 a share because I'm retarded.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you just sat on that stuff, man, you'd be
If I sat on it for
billionaire.
like 3 years, if I just didn't sell it for 3 years,
You wouldn't be on this little silly
Yeah.
live stream right now. That's for damn sure.
I would own this live stream. I would own everyone's live streams.
Own everyone's live streams, indeed. You guys want to hear who else tries to own people's creative work is Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds.
Oh Lord.
And
boy.
there has
These
been
douchebags.
there has been a huge uproar over what they've been doing to Justin Baldoni and this latest movie that they've been working on. So for those of you who don't know what's been going on, so Justin
Yeah, that would be
Baldoni,
me.
who was he's a small-time actor. He was on Jane the Virgin, has like a big kind of cult following to him. He optioned the rights to a Charlene Harris novel that he turned into a movie. And he cast Blake Lively in this movie. And Blake Lively is basically Ryan Reynolds' wife. She's been in a lot of movies. She's not well, I mean, like that's all people really know her as. She's been in a handful of movies, but she's not like an A-list actress or anything like that. So she agreed to do this movie for like a fraction of her normal fee. I think it was like $3 million. And Justin Baldoni was putting up like his own money to produce this movie. And she basically got about halfway through it into production and started making all types of crazy demands, which inflated the budget, put Justin Baldoni on notice, where basically her and Ryan Reynolds tried to take over this guy's movie that he was independently producing, got her a producer credit, got her into the edit room where she made a competing edit of this movie. She tried to steal Charlene Harris's, away from Justin Baldoni so she could get the rights to all of her books to make other movies for. And even Taylor Swift got kind of pulled into this drama where basically eventually Blake Lively came out and tried to Me Too Justin Baldoni by saying that he was like sexually harassing her and all this other stuff. Well, Baldoni kept all the receipts, and his legal team basically created a website where they released every single email, text exchange, text messages, all this stuff that basically counters every single thing that Blake Lively claimed was happening and showcased some really bad behavior on her part. And basically her husband has gotten, pulled into this, and Ryan Reynolds' personal brand has been starting to get really damaged by this. Like he used to be like, oh, he's the fun, cool, funny guy, funny actor. And now it's like, oh, he's part of this like evil power couple that's like trying to destroy this independent filmmaker and take over all this stuff. And this has been going on social media where even my wife is like super into like this drama that's happening here.
Hashtag believe Martha Stewart.
Yeah. And so basically Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds are getting completely torched by this drama, and it's starting to affect their brand. Taylor Swift is allegedly distancing herself from her best friend forever, Blake Lively. There's all types of crazy stuff going on here. Tom, I want to start with you. What do you think are the long-term implications of this stuff that's coming out about Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds? Do you think that it could hurt their future movies?
Oh God, yeah. Well, especially Blake, because I mean, she's kind of the centerpiece of this whole thing, and as much as Ryan is probably part of the problem, she's the one who's probably going to get thrown under the bus the most in this whole situation thus far. But that being said, yeah, I mean, this is not good. We're starting to hear other actors and actresses and other people that aren't too happy with the situation. I don't believe Taylor Swift one bit. I believe that the first bit that came out from her camp was true, is that she's not happy right now with Blake Lively and getting sucked into this garbage. Because this is just, this is a bad look on everybody's behalf except for pretty much Justin Baldoni, and he is the soyest mofo in the world. And if you start reading his texts,
he's a
like,
so boy, bro. Yeah.
He's, oh my God,
he's a total piece of shit too.
he's dripping with beta male. It's gross,
massive.
Like,
He literally wrote a book about how masculinity is toxic. He's a piece of shit.
I have no sympathy for that guy whatsoever.
so it's hard to stick
I'm
up
hoping
for him,
Blake
but
Lively wins this fight somehow.
Yeah. I'm Team Lively just because that
Yeah.
guy's such a freaking cuck.
I'm Team
I
Lively
don't
because
ever-
he's such a
like,
massive cuck.
He's
Yeah.
such a massive.
I
Dude,
wish
he-
I could be, but he's been played so dirty, and then now we're
I don't care.
Bro, he has a chapter in
Should
his
be played
book.
dirty.
He has a chapter of his book about the reality of his racism and white male privilege, and he's
I
fucking
hope this
Jewish. Get out of here,
destroys
dude.
him. And the Ryan
Well,
Reynolds,
let me
Blake
put it
Lively
this
duo,
way. I just hope you guys don't ever go up for like murder or some bad thing, and the judge you got doesn't like you. That's all I'm gonna say.
I'm sorry. He's a perfect example of F around and find out. He's been playing this Hollywood game for a long time, and now he's and luckily he's got some TikTokers on his side, so people are going after Lively. But the guy is a bad dude.
Listen,
he
hold
is
on,
the
hold on.
opposite of what a man is. He's been pushing for anti-masculinity for 10 years, using his minor fame to do TED Talks and write books about how men are evil. So you know what? Fuck him.
Yeah, thank you, Brian. Look, what is unanimously true of almost every insanely open anti-male feminist in Hollywood for the past?
They all get caught up, dude.
They all end up finding out that they're a bunch of freaking freak, weirdo, abusive nutcases who are just trying to hide that. Just wait for this guy to come out. There was a voicemail that got released. It was like from him to Blake Lively, and it was just dripping with this gross beta male soy. Oh my God, our experience together is such a wonderful thing. Shut up, nerd. You're a freaking weirdo.
I guarantee you that guy has sucked dick.
I hope he gets
guarantee it.
It
married.
still
I hope
doesn't
he gets
change the
married.
fact that he's the one who's being wronged here, most likely.
Sure, but I don't
And
care.
it still
I
doesn't
don't give a
change the
shit.
fact that no, it needs to be called out because people have been.
His
saying
book
this
is an
about Ryan
actor on a
Reynolds for
mission to end toxic masculinity. I don't give a shit. End him. End him. You threaten my entire fucking gender? Fuck you.
Yeah, I'm with Brian.
Ouch. Tell us how you really feel, Brian.
I hate this motherfucker. I hope he loses.
So basically, from what I hear, Tom, is that Blake Lively has been following Ryan Reynolds' playbook and how to take over a movie.
Yeah, that's
which
what I've been hearing too. Yeah.
Basically, she comes in for less than her normal asking price, in this case, $3 million. She gets cast in this movie. She waits until the movie's halfway through production, and then she starts making outrageous demands where she's driving up the budget. She's delaying the production of the movie. And in order to get her to comply with what they need her to do, they agree to a producing credit. And then she starts throwing her weight around, firing people and then rehiring people so that she can get into the editing bay and make her own cut of the movie, because under SAG, or the Producers Guild, they need to have a producer needs to have input into music. So she fired the composer and hired her own composer and all this other stuff. She gets into the editing bay and makes a competing version of the final movie that she then forces the studio to do like a test screening of. And this is all part of a play where she basically wants to become the producer of a Charlene Harris verse type thing where she gets access to all of Charlene Harris's book rights and turns them into movies. And this is so that she can elevate herself in Hollywood from like a B-list actress who's married to like a very famous guy into like an A-lister who is a power player in Hollywood. Now, do you think that this is going to work out for her? Tom Bueller?
Oh, I didn't know it was for me. I thought you were asking somebody else. Do I think it's going to work out for Blake? No, not in the least. I think she's pretty much done here at this point. She's even getting called out for not helping promote the new movie she's in with What's Her Face and all that kind of stuff. When this actually all starts coming out and coming to the end, like the more and more we hear, the worse and worse Ryan and her look. And it's going to get to a point where she's going to be a burden on Ryan too, right? Because let's not make any mistake about it. We joked a little bit about up front. The only reason most of us even know who the fuck she is because she's married to Ryan Reynolds.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like the same thing with Justin
That's
Baldoni.
true.
The only reason we know who the fuck he is because he got wrapped up into this mess. Now, you have another situation going on at the same time right now that I think Ryan is in the center of a huge storm of, even though his name wasn't brought up in a negative way with this Marvel MCU Deadpool shit with Rob Liefeld. Boy, does that playbook that he got done dirty to him sure sound like what happened to Justin Baldoni, don't it? The exact same fucking thing. Showed up at the premiere, wasn't allowed at the party.
I don't even know what you're
So
talking
like
about.
you said, it sounds like a playbook that comes out of the same place, and this is what we've been hearing, is that Ryan Reynolds basically runs her career, runs her image like an agent, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And he came in, they saw this opportunity. It's not going to work out for them. I mean, I don't know how they expected this to play out, other than they just really thought that they were going to be able to just toss this guy under the bus and he was going to take it.
I think
sure,
they're probably all dirtbags. Like, let's be real. They're probably all dirtbags. I haven't been dead against this guy ever since I watched his stupid TED Talk. So I've hated him for 5 years now. So I've known about him for 5 years and I've hated him the entire time. So I'm not for anyone. I just hate this guy so much. And at the very least, Ryan Reynolds entertains me and doesn't come after my gender.
Supposedly, Nice Pool was based off of Baldoni.
Sort of funny.
Which is kind of funny.
It's kind of funny.
So petty. Imagine being that petty that you have maybe a minor character in your movie based off this guy that you hate.
You have him shot a million times. Yeah.
I wish I was able to partake in this conversation,
Guys, I
don't have anything to say.
I have a video of Justin Baldoni before he got plastic surgery. You want to see it?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, let me
Yes,
show you real
please.
quick.
Go ahead.
It's really
bring that up.
it's really quite good.
So I'm so interested.
Here we
in
go.
his Look.
Here we go. Can you share that? Yeah, here we go.
Daily reminder, you get to define what masculinity and femininity are for yourself.
God, I want to barf. Jesus, bro.
Like,
I told
listen,
you to stop sending me that shit, Brian.
my bad, bro. If Justin Baldoni didn't look like an Adonis, like, he would just be that guy because he has the same message, you know.
Well, guys, I want to read you this tweet that kind of outlines what's been going on here. So Justin Baldoni just launched a website fighting back against Blake Lively's allegations, and he's not holding back. The site lays out the full timeline and the amended complaint against Blake and Ryan Reynolds. Going through Justin Baldoni's timeline of events, it's hard to see any director wanting to work with Blake Lively after this. Too many details check out, and the receipts back up what he's saying. Now, Blake thinks that she can control who deposes her in the lawsuit. That's not how the real world works. Hollywood privilege won't save her here. At the end of the day, people can't stand bullies and love an underdog, and Justin Baldoni is exactly that. When you really do your research, he's like a puppy dog, and Blake and Ryan essentially chose to kick the puppy dog. And that's not sitting well with people. Blake has always given off blonde mean girl vibes, the type who picked on everyone in high school. Now she's getting a taste of real life, and it's about to get messy. Link to the website in the comments below. And by the way, everyone, links to this stuff is in the description if you want to do your own research. But Alex, you seem to have a visceral take on this. So do you think that Justin Baldoni, even though you don't like him, is a little bit in the right here?
He's probably 100% morally in the right. I don't care. He's a douchebag. and so is Ryan Reynolds, and so is Blake Lively.
they're all horrible.
We're talking about three horrible people having a freaking pissing match over who gets fucking producing credit on some stupid ass movie that nobody's gonna watch.
And Blake Lively's a smidge above mid.
I'm not trying to cancel them, Tom. I'm not, fucking boycott the movie. I'm not gonna watch it anyway. It doesn't.
I wasn't gonna watch it anyways.
I'm not gonna fucking watch it. I don't care. I'm just saying that this freaking beta cuck male feminist has no freaking. I do not give a shit what happens to him.
He has no moral high ground. Like, he's being torn apart by equally stupid people.
Yeah, he's being torn apart by the Hollywood freaking producer credit.
Well, you both said you hope he loses, and I don't give a shit how much I hate Whoopi Goldberg. I don't want to see her go to prison for a murder she didn't commit. Right? Like, that's not fair.
He's not going to prison.
No, but he's
you're right, but he's not going to prison. Right?
He's getting his movie taken away from him.
He bought and he paid and he worked hard for it. He picked the wrong person to be a part of it. And now it's being destroyed because this bitch.
That's fair, but it was hyperbolic for you to say go to prison. I'm just saying.
I know. I'm using it as an example. Is my point. Like, you guys are ready to condemn the guy. It's like, okay, I get it. He's a piece of shit, but
the bottom line here.
It doesn't matter. The thing was his, and somebody else is trying to fucking take it.
That is true. That is true.
It happens all the time.
You guys are
he's Tom is right though. Tom is right. It's his. He bought it. He paid for it. He should be allowed to attempt to peddle that piece of shit movie.
Well, I want to throw this.
I don't give a shit about any of them, to be honest with you. I'm just saying.
I want to throw this to Mr. Butters. So, Mr. Butters, you weren't on the show where we talked about this, but well-known male feminist Neil Gaiman suddenly got in trouble for not being such a feminist. Mm-hmm. And when it comes to Justin Baldoni, if he's really such a feminist and men are toxic and stuff like that, shouldn't he just be going along with Blake's demands and just give her everything that she wants? Because that is what feminism is
that's
about.
What a proper feminist would do.
Probably if he was like on her team, but I mean, I guess I don't really know anything about this, but I guess if I was trying to make something and some bitch came along and tried to take it away from me, I'd probably fight for it all too. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, but you're not a feminist.
No.
We'd be fighting with you. But when we see the soy boy feminist who's been threatening who's been talking shit on our gender for 7 years, it makes me not give a shit about him.
I don't care. I don't care. I don't care about any of these people. Ryan Reynolds entertains me. His wife, I don't even know who she is, other than Taylor Swift's friend who sits with her in the box at Chiefs games.
The Shallows. She was in a great movie called The Shallows.
I don't even know what that is either.
Awesome shark movie.
Oh, that was that movie you made me watch. That was her?
Yeah,
that was her. Oh, okay. Yeah, that movie sucked. So
I have no personal interest in Blake Lively. I do like Ryan Reynolds though. Even though he's probably a piece of shit. She
was also an undecided, where they mess with some very unstable herbs.
Oh, she was in that movie too, where she plays like the
Blake Lively was in Accepted.
Yeah, Accepted. She was the main hot girl that Justin Long was going after.
Whoa, that's crazy. Okay, cool.
Yeah. She was in a movie where she played like a murderer too that got away with it. It was pretty good. A Simple Favor was actually pretty good.
I don't know. I haven't kept up on my Blake Lively cinema.
Anna Kendrick was in that too.
And Anna Kendrick. Did you guys watch that interview where it's Anna Kendrick and Blake Lively together? They hate each other so much. It was funny to watch.
That's probably why that movie is good, because they clearly hate each other.
The uncomfortable vibe in that interview was freaking palatable. I loved it. It was so funny.
You guys know what's not uncomfortable are super chats. We have Mephisto's movie reviews for 15 Israeli dollars. I don't know what those are called. But if you're fed up from politics talk, join us after the show as we are covering Romancing the Stone on the Real McCoy podcast.
You know what's funny? When I first started this channel, I said no politics, movies only, and nobody watched it. So now we're talking about politics. 300 viewers. So whatever, man.
Everything is political to a certain extent, Alex. But if you want to bridge the gap between the Brain Show and the Salty Saturday Show, go check out the Real McCoy podcast. Mephisto's a good guy.
And if you want to advertise your show on our show, it'll cost you 15, whatever those things are. So.
Cronins.
Yeah,
what are those? What are those things? Cronins?
All right. Really Old Movies, a member for 5 months, gives us a member chat. Hail, Salty Nerds. Lively sucks. That is all. LOL.
I like it.
Yes, Lively definitely is.
And remembering, I did like A Simple Favor though a lot. Like that was a pretty good movie. But I think maybe it's because Anna Kendrick and her legitimately hate each other, and that's what made their chemistry, their anti-chemistry, made the movie good.
Did they make out in the movie?
No, it was.
No,
I don't remember
the.
I don't remember a lot of. It was like a thriller. She was the bad guy, and something with her husband.
I really don't care. I just want to know if they made out.
Well, you guys know.
I would have remembered that. I don't think they did.
Do you guys know what everyone hates is Disney? And apparently Disney Plus has lost 700,000 subscribers. And this is kind of interesting. So we have Star Wars Theory who's talking about this, but on a recent Disney earnings call, they basically said that we've lost 700,000 Disney Plus subscribers in Q1. And a lot of this is kind of directly related to them raising their prices for subscription, and also the fact that nothing is really making people want to stick with Disney Plus. You have the family crowd that's upset that they've gone so woke that they don't trust the children's fare anymore. You have the fact that Star Wars has been systematically murdered. Marvel sucks nowadays. But there's also been some speculation that maybe Disney was getting propped up by USAID stuff as well, and this hasn't really come out of the woodwork yet. But I want to start with Tom on this one. Tom, what's your take on this huge number of losses for Disney Plus?
Oh, I almost guarantee you this was being subsidized in some way by all this stuff. Like we were trying to tell everybody that, like, you know, because that was the number one question we get all the time was how are they paying for this? We know they're not making any money. Mm-hmm. And that's how they were getting money from all these funding groups like BlackRock, all that kind of stuff, and stuff through probably you said. Now, I'm not saying they got it directly from them. I'm sure there was other ways that it was funneled to them. But yeah, that being said, I mean, this streaming thing has gotten to a point where I can't believe that some of the companies, other than just saving face or worrying about some kind of shareholder revolt and or lawsuits, haven't just dumped this streaming thing. Because I did the numbers, and they are spending so much money to only make a few $1 million. They still make over $1 billion in home video sales. Like, what the fuck are they doing? It has been 5 years now since we've been in the middle of this streaming war. And Andre is right. It is the world's dumbest format war we've ever had. Because what you had was basically Hulu and Netflix and YouTube were kind of the main hub of everything where people watch stuff outside of cable and everything like that. And then all of a sudden the studios thought, well, we want to be the underwear gnomes and we're going to profit like Netflix is. Only they didn't realize in the middle of all that, they were the reason Netflix was profiting. You know, like you have to have a central hub where everybody goes and they pay their money, because otherwise they're just going to bounce around all day long to different services. They're not going to stick around. And if you raise their prices like Netflix and Disney do on a regular basis, people are not going to stick around. They're only going to get it for a month, watch what they want to watch, and then leave. Because this isn't like cable anymore to where you're stuck on a contract. And in fact, this last year, I think cable fell the lowest it's ever fell before, because people probably finally got out of their Dish Network and Warner Cable and Charter Cable contracts to where they could finally dump the shit, right? I mean, we're at a point now where, I mean, most people use streaming, but I don't know too many people who use it consistently to where they always have like all these different channels, unless they're people like us to where they have to. And even I got to a point where I can't afford it and or keep up with it all to where I'm not going to fucking bother.
Yeah, it's called waterfalling. It's when you turn services on and off just to watch, you know, binge watch a series or whatever.
In fact, I think I'm going to turn. We have Disney Plus right now, but it's the ad version, and because we use it with the Hulu, ESPN, Disney bundle thing. But I think I'm going to turn it off, and I'm going to turn on YouTube Plus or whatever it's called.
I gotta say, I'm not sending for these companies, but you're making a mistake if you're not using a bundle. Like I'm paying $25 a month for Disney Max and Hulu.
Well, Disney's in the process of destroying Hulu right now, if you really think about it, kind of.
It's true.
Yeah, and speaking of ad-supported stuff, I want to show you this article from Breitbart, Brian, where basically a big part of the fact that they're losing money on Disney Plus streaming is that they've lost so many like users, like people who actually sit there and like watch stuff on Disney Plus, that the ad-supported tier, advertisers aren't buying any inventory on it because they're like, why are we going to be spending money on an ad-supported tier that nobody watches? And as the #1 Disney shareholder on the panel, I'd like to get your take on why do you think Disney just can't seem to crack the idea of catering to an audience?
I think they're yeah, we can go back to that conversation about how they don't care about their, they're trying to push an agenda. They don't care about their fans. But what the streaming service is doing, in my opinion, is they're trying to do too much. They're trying to do too much with very little. And so they're trying to put a bunch of shit on there that no one wants to watch, and then upcharge for that extra content. And it's just not worth it. And we can go back to this. If they just focused on making, shows that were shows and movies that were agenda free, have them come out in theaters, and a couple months later, do what Sony does, drop them on streaming, they'd probably, consistently grow in a profitable way. But
it should have just replaced the Disney Channel is what it should have done. That's where their idiocy came in.
And 100%.
It should have been more
100%.
revolved around their television. And that's the other problem I've pointed out a million times over, is they turn around and made their movies worthless, right? Disney, for one thing that they had the vault, right? They had those specific titles that were only coming out every 7 years. And if you didn't get them in that time period, guess what? Tough shit. And they created this idea that if you didn't, the sense of urgency that you were going to miss out. Right. And they were smart enough because they knew every 7 years was a new generation, a new crop of kids to come in and see these things for the first time. And they had the greatest thing going for them because these movies were constant money makers. Right. Like to this day, movies like The Lion King have made more money on home video than they ever did in theaters, even though it was a humongous hit in theaters. But yet now that The Lion King is sitting right next to The Lion King 2.5 and Lion King 3 or whatever other movies they made, plus the new CGI ones, guess what? It's fucking worthless. The Lion King is worth just as much as The Lion King 2. It's worth just as much as the rest of them because you can turn on Disney Plus and get it in any time, when Disney Plus should have been their TV hub and not so much about their movies.
Yeah, I think you're right. Plus, and I'm not condoning this, mind you. I'm not saying you should do this, but you could just install a Plex server and travel the high seas and not spend any money. I'm just saying.
Well, Dutch, Bob Iger kind of came out and said that one of the reasons people need to subscribe to Disney Plus is because they're making such great content. And yet we've seen how they've driven the Star Wars IP into the ground. What's your take on that? Do you think if Disney Plus had better original stuff that people would actually be showing up for it?
The only thing that I've watched on Disney Plus is a few Marvel movies and some Star Wars stuff. And the only thing I would use it for going forward is maybe to watch Andor when it comes out, to talk about it on this channel. But I think I'm just going to get rid of it because I'll pirate off you and watch it at the studio or something. I don't know.
I can't get rid of it. I have kids.
Yeah, well, I have grandkids, but their dad can start paying for fucking shit.
There you go.
I'm sick of that.
My their grandfather sucks. So
yeah. So I don't think there's any value in Disney Plus right now, and at least for me, there's nothing there that I'm interested in. I don't have kids at home. I'm not interested in I can't even watch the Star Wars movies I like because they're not the versions I want to watch, and I don't want to watch them with commercials. I cannot stand watching any kind of movie with 14 ad breaks in it. So I think it'd be easier for me to go spend $80 on a DVD player and plug it into my TV and start using all these videos over here behind me.
Just install Plex, bro. What are you doing? Just install Plex.
I'll talk to you about it afterward. I don't even know what Plex is, bro. So
it's free.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. But yeah, there's no value there, and I absolutely have no reason to have it. So,
Alex, we've talked numerous times on the show before about how Disney's real value is for like family content, right? But other than Bluey, it doesn't seem like there's any like valuable family content on Disney Plus like right now. Where do you think all like the family oriented content, like the people who want that type of stuff where they don't have to worry about subliminal messages being injected into their kids' brains, like where are they going for their family fare?
Bent Key, I guess, was a Daily Wire's kids show thing. They've actually, I got it when it first came out, and it was subpar. They had some knockoff shows that were like Bluey and a couple of different weird things that I wasn't a huge fan of. But I just logged on the other day just to check things out. They actually had a pretty good library now. They have some they have old TV shows like G.I. Joe cartoons from the 80s and stuff like that. And so, I mean, that's an option. I know they're trying to do that. Bent Key specifically is trying to kind of corner that market and offer like a family-friendly place for people to have their kids watch stuff without
Tubi, man. Super Bowl's on Tubi this year. Free
Oh,
of
yeah?
charge in 4K.
Yeah, that's really super weird. Tubi.
But like
Tubi.
family content, I don't know. My kids watch Bluey and then a handful of pre-selected shows on Netflix that I let them watch. But honestly, I don't really let my kids watch a ton of TV anyway, so it doesn't it's totally not worth having Disney Plus. I'd rather just go find the Australian version because Disney also does censor Bluey. Even a show like Bluey, Disney censors it, and they change a couple episodes, or they won't let you watch a couple of ones. So if you have to go and find the Australian DVD collection and have it shipped to you, so that you can actually watch the show the way it was meant to be watched.
There's a lot of stuff on, and I'm not simping. I know, biggest shareholder, but there is a lot of stuff on Disney Plus for like teens. I have two 13-year-old girls, and they like almost 90% of what they watch when it's not vapid YouTube crap like this is is Disney Plus. Like there's a lot of content on there for teens, and it's just worth it for me to have. Again, it costs me less than $10 a month. So,
You know, I just saw a chat in there from Aaron Charman in there. It says, my kids watch nothing but YouTube. I struggle to get them to watch regular TV. I noticed that with my grandkids. When my grandkids are here to visit, when they are not visiting, they got their iPads or whatever. They're watching silly crap on YouTube. They have zero interest in watching what's on regular TV or Disney Plus. You know, they went through this phase where they were watching some stupid show with, I think Ariana Grande was in it or something, whatever that show was. But or is it? I don't know. Maybe you guys know what I'm talking about.
yeah,
But,
Nickelodeon or something.
yeah, some Nickelodeon show. But other than that, I don't think they really watch Disney Plus anymore. And
My kids love all the superhero stuff. Like they rewatch superhero
they're
stuff.
about the
all
same
day
age
long.
as your kids. They're 12 and 13. They're going, you know, their tastes in entertainment are changing along with them, and they're growing out of that Disney era phase. And I'm a little bit terrified of what they're going to start watching now that they're going into their young teenage years. But
salty nerd show.
It's like
my oldest is 10, and I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, it's time for Lord of the Rings and
Yeah.
Terminator and freaking, you know, it's like it's time for you to watch some good classic 80s movies. Like that's what I'm doing.
my
TV
oldest
shows are not TV
my-
shows
my-
are not the way to go
sorry.
now. No,
my
you're
oldest
good.
has started playing Dungeons and Dragons, which the nerd in me is ecstatic about and happy. But then I remember it's like, oh no, this is new modern Dungeons and Dragons. It's gonna destroy your little brain, and I'm like unhappy about it. So you know, I'm gonna have to have a little chat with her here next time I see her about wokeism in Dungeons and Dragons, but that's a whole other topic. But yeah, there's no value in Disney and these things, and it'll be interesting to see what happens with that channel for sure, because I don't think it's going to do well. It's going down.
Well, guys, we got called out a little bit ago for being a little bit too political. And did you guys hear about this recent Terrifier controversy where by being non-political, everyone got upset with them?
Yeah,
No,
I saw that tweet.
I thought that guy's tweet was fantastic. That's one of
So let me just recap the controversy here. So basically, the Terrifier movies, which are these low budget horror movies, they've been killing it at the box office. There's like 3 of them out, and it's like the new like horror franchise, right? And like for like a couple $100,000 investment into making these movies, they're making hundreds of millions of dollars in response. So they're very popular. And some of the actors who are involved in the movies, of course, go on social media and they do very anti-Trump, LGBTQ pro, like all this support. And people were starting to say like, oh, the Terrifier movies are, leftist in nature and all this other stuff. And so Damien Leone, the creator and director and writer of the Terrifier movies, he came out publicly and he made a statement. And he said, I want to make a very important statement regarding the Terrifier franchise and this ugly political climate we're living in.
Mm-hmm.
As most of you know, some of my cast and crew members have a very passionate political presence on social media with extreme and sometimes harsh opinions, which is their right. I'm all for freedom of speech and expression. That being said, Terrifier is not in any way, shape, or form a political franchise. I did not get into filmmaking to become a politician or promote any political agendas or ideologies, especially through a killer clown movie. I fell in love with horror movies as a form of pure entertainment, and those are the films I like to make. Since Terrifier 1, our cast and crew has and still consists of both Republicans and Democrats, and anyone is welcome to be a part of it, regardless of their political affiliations, as long as they're a decent human being. That goes for our fan base as well. If this doesn't sit well with any fans or cast and crew members, that is your right, and I respect it. You don't have to buy a ticket, and you don't have to work on these films. Thank you, and I recommend you don't let toxic rhetoric on either side of the political spectrum deter you from being a Terrifier fan. And the fans of Terrifier, or I should say the leftist fans of Terrifier, went after Damien Leone for coming out and saying that his movie was non-political. They're like, what do you mean it's not political? You need to make everything political.
Everything's political.
Everything's political, yeah. So I want to get your guys' reaction to this. Alex, what's your reaction to someone saying, I don't want to be involved in politics, suddenly being criticized for not being involved in politics?
I don't know. I don't know anything about this franchise, so I've never seen any of the movies, so I can't if the claim was that it's a bunch of freaking like lefty woke nonsense movies.
It's a very gory horror franchise about a
It'd
killer
probably
clown.
kill you, dude. It would kill you.
Yeah, you wouldn't like it.
No.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
I saw one scene and I was like, oh yeah, I'm not watching this.
It sounds like a creative who just from
Wants to make
listening.
movies.
They're not as bad as people let them out to be.
He just wants to make movies, and the fact that a certain subgroup of people that watch those movies happen to have a very strong political leaning, that if that became his base, let's just say for sake of argument, if his fan base was like the majority of it was like left leaning people, and then all of a sudden he was like, hey guys, I'm not here to make political statements. And they're like, what? No, but the whole time we've been using you as an example for our political beliefs. Like, it's just, I don't know. I don't really have a positive or negative opinion about it. I just think it's funny. It's like that. I get it, man. That poor guy.
Well, that's kind of why he's
I would
actually.
hate. Yeah, I would hate if that happened. I would hate if I was like, hey, I just want to make fun movies, and then like a group of people project their own thoughts onto that film. Oh, that guy. Oh yeah, I've seen that guy before. I've never seen the movies, but he's in a bunch of memes. I guess I kind of feel bad for him. Like
but Alex,
happens a lot.
You mentioned earlier in the show that like originally you didn't want any politics even anywhere near the Salty Nerd podcast. And here's a guy who's basically taken the same stance with his movies, and yet he's got people out there, attacking him for not wanting to, stake his flag on either side and just make entertaining movies.
Well, he's I don't know. I think conservative people would probably be a better group of people to cater to a movie for, because they generally enjoy it when something is apolitical, like a video game.
Learning that,
you know what I mean? Like, just if you look at the culture, people are on the left. If you're not left, they freaking shame you. But if you're making a movie that's just completely apolitical and people on the right enjoy it, they actually enjoy the fact that it's not political. We're like, thank you for making something that's just entertaining. Like, it's weird how that works, because it's like, I don't know. It's some people claim that's like a cult thing, or if you're not part of the cult, you get shamed. But the other people don't care if you're in the cult, so they just want to enjoy your stuff. For me, for the podcast, I mean, like, look, dude, we did it for 4 or 5 years. No politics, just us talking about movies, having a good time, and we got nowhere. Our channel didn't grow. We didn't get anything. Like, we had a good group of people that enjoyed our content, but it wasn't enough to justify the amount of hours that we spent editing and creating that content. So it's a tough sell, because obviously this show's doing really, really well, and a lot of these topics are very political. It's the nature of the beast, man. I don't know. I don't have an answer for it. If I had an answer, my YouTube channel would be more successful.
You guys remember that company Sticker Mule?
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
So I know a couple of the guys that work at Sticker Mule. And when Trump was shot, one of the owners came out and
remember that.
he basically said, he had like a really nice thing to say about how we need to come together, and it's really unfortunate that someone took a shot at Trump, whatever, right? Real soft stuff. Left lost their mind. He had to come out with a whole statement being like, look, this was not a political statement. This was a human to a human, and the people that work here are made up of Democrats and Republicans, and they know exactly where we lie. We're not making anything political. We're a bunch of people that all want to do the same thing: make cool stickers. Chill the hell out. Sometimes people just want to make cool stickers or make cool movies or make cool YouTube videos, and they don't want to take a side or even show what their side is. Just let them be. Yeah. And this, in case of this podcast and now my brain show, the leash is off, dude. We're gonna talk about whatever we want to talk about, because for years we talked about movies and stuff, and whatever. So let's just have fun with it now and share our beliefs. But there's plenty of creatives that just want to make movies or just want to make cool stickers. It's not let them be.
Yeah, and it's also important to point out that we talk about politics within the spectrum of entertainment and how it affects entertainment and how it's destroyed entertainment in a lot of ways. And Tom, I want to get your take on it, because basically, this is a guy who's taking the right stance. He's saying, like, look, I just want to make entertaining stuff. And yet Hollywood, by and large, doesn't seem to believe in that. So, like, do you think that we're starting to see a shift away from propaganda and more towards entertainment?
Well, I don't know if you brought up why this happened in the first place or not, but two of the movie's stars, one being, I believe, David, I can't remember his last name, but the guy who plays the actual clown in the movie, were out there freaking out over Trump and some of the trans stuff and other stuff like that, and literally basically told Trump supporters to fuck off. So that's where this whole thing started from. So then there was a bunch of backlash over that. So then Damien's like, and here's the sad part, Damien probably is a lefty, right? Because as we talk about all the time, most of these people in Hollywood are, at least the creative side of things, they are. And it's funny when this shit happens, because I hope Damien's learning that all the vitriol is coming from one side, right? Because the first initial attack was directed towards Trump supporters and Trump himself. And it's like, dude, what the fuck did we do? Right? Like, we're just trying to watch a movie about a killer clown, and you're making this about politics. And that's what pissed Damien off, was he's like, I don't appreciate somebody hijacking my fucking franchise about a killer clown and making it about politics. Because at the end of the day, that's all it's really about, is about a killer clown. And I've seen all three of the movies. I'm probably the only one on the panel who has. And they're really mostly harmless. They're a play on, if you grew up watching like Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th, that kind of stuff, Hellraiser, you'll love these movies, right? Like, there is a bit of a stigma to them being like torture porn. They're not. There are some scenes that do go over the top, but it's one of those things where a lot of them go so far over the top, you find yourself just laughing at how gratuitously stupid it is. Does that make sense?
Tom,
like,
can I ask you a question real
like
quick?
Evil Dead almost. Yeah.
Where do you think these people are getting this? How are these people projecting their leftist ideas on this franchise? Is there anything there at all, or is it purely just them making shit up? Is there any kind of leaning at all?
In the films themselves, no.
Yeah.
Now, the actors in them, yes, they're out there vocally, and that's what kind of, like I said, started this whole thing.
Okay.
And that's what Damien's pissed about, and he said it in his own statement. It's like, and this goes for both the fans and the people that are involved with the program, right? Like, cast and crew involved. If you don't like it, then just fuck off. Because we're done. Okay. And keep in mind that other people have played Art the Clown before. In fact, the guy who plays him now is not the first guy to ever play him. In the original short films, it was played by a completely different guy who just up and decided he wasn't going to do it anymore. Right? And so it's not like he can't be recast. I mean, he doesn't even speak. So
yeah, it's just a yeah.
And I mean, I guess there is another cast member that I didn't even know about that might be trans or something like that or whatever. And isn't the other member that's speaking out that was freaking out about this, a lesser cast member or whatever. But at the end of the day, so yeah, they're trying to project their politics into this, and they're trying to say, well, everything's about politics, kind of like what you guys were just talking about before. In a way, it is. But at the end of the day, nobody was equating politics with Terrifier. Right?
No.
Like at no point whatsoever did anybody go, "Oh, this is clearly a comment on Trump America."
Yeah.
Well, Dutch, we've been saying for years, it's like, just give us entertainment. Stop with the propaganda. Stop with injecting politics. And this is basically what this filmmaker is saying, and he's being criticized for it. But in the replies to his Twitter thread, we see a lot of our friends like Quarter Black Garrett, we see Mexican Iron Man, we see Nina Infinity. All these people are coming out and saying, like, thank you. Like this
And
is
I
what
told
we
him just
want.
ignore the noise. Yeah, that's what I told him to. Just
so do you think that this might encourage other filmmakers to kind of take this like neutral stance? Like, I just want to entertain. I don't want to get political.
I would like to say yes, but probably not. I don't know. I think Hollywood, these establishment guys in Hollywood, they're also stuck in their rut of this nonsense that it's going to take a whole new generation of independent filmmakers, I think, to come up like this guy to change the landscape over there. But I think people like him are a good start. So I guess we'll see. But there's people down there like your friend James Mangold and some of these guys, and they're as long as they're making movies, things aren't going to change. So,
did you hear recently about Harrison Ford's reaction to Indy 5?
I don't even want to talk about Harrison Ford. I'm so annoyed with him, dude. I used to be such a huge fan, and when you find out that your heroes are just pieces of shit, it annoys me. So
I just love what he said about Captain America. He's like,
yeah,
come on, let's go shoot this piece of shit.
yeah. He's such a grumpy old fucker, dude. It is just,
You should love him for that. I would think.
I don't know.
He's
just
funny.
disappointing.
To me, Harrison Ford is the quintessential I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, I guess.
don't care.
And I think it goes in
except
both
for
ways.
Trump, he went after Trump.
Did
And
he? I didn't
yes.
realize that.
And he did try to. He somewhat equated, and he's the reason
So
that
weird.
people are talking about the whole Trump allegory with
the Red Hulk thing.
with Red Hulk thing, and then Anthony Mackie's like, "Well, just shut up about it." It's like, well, it was Harrison Ford who kind of started it.
Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that.
He
Yeah,
didn't
I wonder-
directly say it, but it was kind of like an indirect kind of
I
statement.
wonder why he would even jump in that fray when he cares about nothing else.
He cares about nothing.
Well,
He
he
cares
He's
endorsed-
about
always
making
been a
money.
diehard hippie, though. Yeah,
He endorsed Kamala. He came out publicly for Kamala.
It's because he was on a Diddy list or something.
he's like, we need to get this woman into office. This man is going to destroy the country.
He doesn't. He does. I refuse to believe
Where's
that
the
Harrison Ford cares about
Jones?
anything.
Let's go to the office.
But there was an interview with him for the Captain America movie, and they were like, "So how does it feel to be working with the first Black Captain America?" And he's like, "I don't think it was a Black Captain America. I think Captain America is just Captain America, right?" And she was just like, And I'm like, gotcha.
I'm proud to be in the Captain video movie.
Yeah, he doesn't give a
That's
shit.
what my agent said.
Captain video movie. I think I play a red guy.
I don't know. It was
I
all
forget.
CGI.
I'm the
wasn't even
tomato
there.
dude.
I wasn't even there.
I thought it was Air Force One Part 2, but I guess it's not.
Get off my plane.
Yeah.
Well, guys,
I miss 80s Harrison Ford. That's what I
Yeah,
miss.
me too.
we got some super chats to get to real quick. We got Aaron Charman, who gifted one Salty Nerd podcast membership. Didn't quite hit our goal for today, but we want to thank everyone who gifted those Salty Nerd podcast memberships. Really appreciate you guys. And John Yulden for £2. I'm going to be on his show coming up towards the end of the month. But he says, great show, guys. Thank you, John. Appreciate that.
Thank you, John. We appreciate you.
We do. All right, guys, we had a lot to talk about today, and we talked about it. I want to thank my fantastic panel of nerds, including Smash JT, who is no longer with us in the...
Did he die?
No, he just
That
left the
sounded
show.
ominous.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. But,
He was just here.
Left this ethereal plane.
yes, but check out, we have a link to his channel in the description. So if you guys want to go and show your support for him, he's got a much bigger channel than we do, so he probably doesn't need our help, but he does do good videos over there. But Dutch Butters, the man, the myth, the legend, who returned last minute to help fill in Odin's spot,
Got a last second phone call.
Yeah.
Or text.
How are you doing? Give us an update for all your fans out there that want to know what Dutch Butters has been doing in his spare time.
Oh, Dutch Butters has been playing a lot of video games over on Salty Nerd Gaming channel. That's what Dutch Butters has been doing. We're working on that channel over there. We're growing things, and we're having a lot of fun doing it. So go over to Salty Nerd Gaming, guys.
He's been buttering the Dutch.
Buttering the
Dutch.
Yeah. I've been growing the beard back. I've been growing the beard
Just
back.
no
Last time
Neil.
I was-
Just don't do it the Neil Gaiman style. That's all I ask.
And I've been
salted butter over there on the gaming.
and
channel.
I've been doing the carnivore diet. So I've been processing a lot of protein lately. So
I've been living that my whole life. Trust me, it makes you strong.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. A lot of eggs and
Nah, it
steaks
makes you
around
fat
here.
as fuck.
I've been doing carnivore too.
Actually, I'm down a lot.
Yeah,
for-
lost a
for
couple
only
pounds.
being on it
Pizza
2.5 weeks.
counts as carnivore, right?
No,
Without the bread,
No.
technically.
no carbs, no sugar. That's what I'm doing right now.
What?
So,
Nobody told me that.
Yep.
All right. Well, Tom Connors Jr., any final thoughts and where can people find more of you?
Nobody told me that. That's not fair. You can find me at Midnight's Edge After Dark. Around places, things.
And stuff. Yes. Thank you.
Tom,
for
you can have pizza, but you got to put pineapple on it. Okay. That's the only way.
Fuck you!
that.
You got to use cauliflower crust.
Look,
That's how you
it
can
is
have
a
pizza.
scientific fact that pineapple goes bad the moment you put it on pizza, and so does the pizza.
Mm-hmm.
Well, don't tell that to Odin because he's busy out there eating pineapple pizza over at MegaCon.
I'm not a fan of pineapple pizza.
Just by the poolside with the cauliflower crust.
Science, kids.
Cauliflower crust.
Yes. Brian from the Popcast.
Hey,
Your final thoughts and what's going on the Brain Show today?
we're talking about a lot of political stuff. Specifically, I'm going to spend a lot of time on the Doge Boys because I think it's great. I love the fact
balls.
that we got big balls and not a racist. Question mark.
Sexy Tesla.
Yeah, and sexy Tesla. I love all these guys with their internet handles and their 4chan accounts.
I've got big balls. You've got big balls. He's got
Yeah.
big balls.
We're
She's
talking
got
about-
big balls, but we got the biggest balls.
We
of
got
all.
the biggest
The-
balls.
The masculine, the huge.
So we're gonna introduce you guys to that whole saga, and one of the guys actually is the guy who decrypted the scrolls that were like cotton ash at Mount. I forgot the name of it.
Pompeii.
Pompeii. Yeah, something they couldn't do for 60 years. This guy cracked it in like 6 months with a computer at his house.
Yep.
These people are very, very smart, and it's just fun watching the left lose their mind. And you gotta ask the question: why are these media agencies like CNN, MSNBC, etc. What are they so afraid of? Because they just keep going. This is illegal. How are these children monitoring the U.S. government? What are you so afraid of, dude? Why are you so afraid? Like, if there's nothing to find, then there's nothing to worry about. What's the issue? They're gonna steal our information. Why is 4 children in charge of our information? What about the 200,000 people that had access to your information 3 days ago? So calm down. We're gonna talk about that whole thing and a bunch of other really. I have a list, 19 pages in Google Docs of all the craziest shit we've been funding for the last decade. And some of it is mind-blowing. It's like watching an SNL sketch. There's no way this is real, but then you go to the USA Spending site and you can find it on there in all of its glory. It's insane. So it's going to be a great show today.
I saw an interesting meme
Trans
today.
book reading in Serbia. It's awesome. Let's go.
I saw an interesting meme today where they showed the ages of the founding fathers who drafted the Constitution.
Yep.
The youngest was 19, and the oldest was like 22.
Right.
So
They keep saying, who are these young boys coming into like, bitch, first off, they're young men. Number
Maxine Waters, who's like 98
Yeah.
years old.
one. Number two, why are you afraid of the young boys? Well, maybe you have something to hide there, bud. What? Hey, I got a question. How are you a millionaire when your salary is $147,000 a year? How do you have 6
You live in
homes?
DC,
Hey,
which
this
is
is like real
expensive as
quick.
shit.
How do you
real
have
quick.
6 homes? How are you worth $78 million?
Real
Answer
quick,
the question.
Brian, I want to ask this question. So I've been seeing this. I don't know if it's an ad or if it's just something that's been on my feed a lot. But I've seen this thing for this app on my phone a lot lately on Twitter,
Mhm.
and it's about an app that mimics Nancy
the
Pelosi
trading?
and these people's
Yeah.
Yes.
stock
Yeah,
market
yeah, yeah.
trades. And when they buy something, you buy something. When they sell,
shit
you
works.
sell. And it keeps track of what they do. So
You could do that. Or you can also just get the
theoretically-
fund. Someone put together a Nancy Pelosi fund where it's basically everything she's invested in. So you're investing in the fund that she's investing in. It's brilliant.
That's
Insider
awesome.
trading,
We gotta-
baby.
gotta figure that
Insider
out.
trading.
I mean, there's a how? How is she worth so much money? How is Maxine Waters worth so much money?
Well, you know how we're worth so much money is because of super chats. We got the mum for $1.99, pineapple plus ham plus bacon on pizza.
That's really good.
No,
Hell
never mind.
yeah.
Down
That's
vote. Take
awesome.
your 199 back. I don't
Great.
want it.
Salty nerd himself, Alex. What's going on in the Salty
What's
Nerd
up?
Gaming channel?
We're having a lot of fun. Actually, today is the 1-year anniversary of Helldivers 2. I thought Dutch was going to be here in studio today, and we were going
If
to.
I
jam
was
something
going to
out
be,
real
then I
quick.
got a phone call. So
God, you messed my freaking thing up, Kadish. But it's actually quite funny because the Sony networks are down, so half of the player base can't play the game. So it's literally being propped up right now. The entire player base is being propped up by only PC divers. So shout out to the Master Race.
Amen to that.
Yeah, we're having a lot of fun.
We're talking about PC gamers, by the way, not white people. He's not a Nazi. Calm down.
I was going to say,
My heart goes out to you.
Yeah. Oh, be careful. Be careful.
My heart goes out to you. So we're just having fun with Helldivers 2. I've also been doing some streaming on saltynerddiscord.com. We're up there around 1,200 people in the Discord channel. I will stream odds and end games like Body Cam, KCD2, which is Kingdom Come Deliverance, the new game that came out, and whatever pops into my head that I want to play. So go over to saltynerddiscord.com. What are you laughing at, Brian?
Someone just said my PC is black. It's so funny.
So's mine.
So is mine.
Yay, the Master Race.
Oh God.
So go to the Salty Nerd Gaming channel, go to saltynerddiscord.com, come hang out. It's a lot of fun. And it's really not, there's truly, genuinely no politics involved in the gaming channel. We just strictly talk about the game and that's it. So come check
well,
it
I
out.
make fun of autism every once in a while. But,
You say some pretty edgy things sometimes.
I have no filter. I can't help it. So.
You do not.
Gooner Edgelord, come on.
All right, guys, I want to give a big shout out to Made You Say Butts, who's our top super chatter for $300, aka William Forbes, and also Scotty Dub for $200. Mexican Iron Man is being our top donator for most consistent donator for the year so far, and of course Jillian H, Major Chai Chai, and Eric Winberg. Thank you all so much for the gifted subs that you always do. And also want to give a big shout out to everyone who gave us super chats during the course of this live stream. Got Mexican Iron Man, the Mum, Shinotsky, Mark of Reality, and Mephisto's movie reviews. Guys, thank you so much for your continued support. We really appreciate you guys. And as always, tune in next week. Same salty time, same salty channel. And Alex, take us away.
Stay salty, my friends.
Yeah.